Great. So finding a tall seat if you can. We're going to start today with some alternate nostril breathing. So you could start on your seat, wherever is comfortable for your legs. If you have something to sit up on, is nice as well. If you've never done this before, I'll go through it really slowly and just so you get the hang of it. If you're really stuffed up, however, which you probably wouldn't be, but if you are stuffed up a bit, you can just let it go and just breathe normally. Oh, there she is. Okay, good. Hold on. Just getting started. So using your right hand for this is best. And I'm not sure on the screen if that shows that I'm mirroring, but using your right hand. So however that looks for you. And so your ring finger on your right hand and your thumb are the 2 points where you would close off your nostrils. Maybe I'll come in a bit closer for this one so you can sort of see it a little bit easier. I tend to take my first 2 fingers down, and then I use my right thumb to close my right nostril and my right ring finger to close my left. So that's how I do it. Some people have long fingers, they have really short ones, and they can place their fingers on their forehead and then somehow alternate this way, but I feel like I'm just like smothering my face doing that. So, but everyone has like a way that makes sense for them. So mine is preferably to tuck those fingers down and use my fingers this way, just because I feel like it's less restricting. But again, everybody's different. So we'll go through one round, and one round is 2 full breaths, and then you can join in with me if you like. So we'll start with a clearing breath just so we can settle. And then I'm going to close my right nostril and breathe in through my left. Then I'm going to close off my left, exhale through my right. And then I'm going to take a breath in through my right. Close off my right nostril and exhale through my left. So that was one round, and it was 2 breaths. So breath in through your left, out through your right, and then in through your right and out through your left. Does that make sense? Yeah. So it's really just a breath in. So we're bringing the breath up through our left nostril, out through our right nostril, in through our right nostril, out through our left. And it's just going to help to, because throughout the day, we predominantly breathe through one side, and automatically we'll switch sides without really knowing it. One side would be more dominant sometimes, and this just helps to bring some balance, and will just really help to anchor us here this morning. So I'm going to go back to my cushion. So I'll walk us through a few rounds, and then you could continue on your own. And if anytime it feels restricting or like you're forcing it and it's creating some anxiety, please let it go. Okay. So as you're ready, taking a full breath in and a full breath out. And then when you're ready, closing your right nostril and breathing in through your left. And then closing your left nostril and breathe out through your right. And then breathe in through your right. And close off and breathe out through your left. And then breathe in through your left. Close off, breathe out through your right. Breathe in through your right. Close off, breathe out left. So that was 2. Breathe in through your left. Close off, exhale right. Breathe in right. Close off, exhale left. Keep moving for maybe 3 more breaths this way, or 3 more rounds, sorry. And keep going until you finish your last exhale out through your left nostril. And then just bringing both hands down and breathing through both sides for a moment. If you have an intention, or if there's maybe even something you'd like to release as you're moving through your practice, you could bring that into your awareness. It could be an intention to draw something in, or an intention to let something go. And I'm going to open the practice with an Om. So you're welcome to join in with me at home, or listen to as I open with Om. So we'll start with a clearing breath, deep breath in, and then exhale, and then inhale for Om. Take a moment to bow your head towards your heart. Thank yourself for being here in this moment. And then let's release our arms. Open your eyes if they're closed, lifting up your head. We're going to come right into tabletop this morning. So moving any props off to the side that you may have on your mat. And I'm going to start in child's pose. And you could make this a bit more active, placing your hands, lifting your elbows and your armpits, or you can rest your elbows to the floor, or maybe even make a pillow for your forehead. So any variation here that works for you. And connecting your breath into the back of your body. You're welcome to stay in the center, or you could weave your right arm underneath your left armpit and settle onto your right shoulder and the side of your head here. Taking a couple deep breaths into the right side of your body, settling towards the floor. And then when you're ready, coming back to the center, and then taking your left arm, weaving it over towards the right here. and coming back to the center. Let's rise and come up to tabletop. And begin to move through cat and cow. So lifting your heart, lifting your sit bones as you breathe in. Exhale to round your spine, chin towards your chest. Maybe a slight engagement through your core as well. Belly button comes up towards your spine. Inhale to lift your heart. And continue to move in this way. Or any side movement or circular movement, or find a little bit more space here perhaps with a bit more dynamic movement. If you'd like, you can start to move into downward facing dog and create a little bit more movement here, walking it out a little bit. Maybe lifting your heels or bending one knee at a time, walking it out. Couple big clearing breaths into your nose, out through your mouth. And then let's come back to tabletop. Hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Begin by extending your right leg back. And this will be the inhale breath. Exhale, knee to chest, forehead to knee. Draw your navel towards your spine. Inhale to extend back, heart forward. Exhale, knee to chest, forehead to knee. And inhale to extend back. If you'd like to, for the next couple, you can extend your arm, really finding that rounding. If that is challenging for your balance, both hands down onto the floor and moving and extending your leg. And when you're ready to come back, both hands come down, both knees on the floor. Let's take a deep breath in and exhale. All right, so back to tabletop. Let's extend our left leg back here. That's our inhale breath. Exhale, knee to chest, forehead to knee, round in. Inhale, extending back. And then exhale, knee to chest, forehead to knee. Rounding through your spine, so finding your strength in your arms here. And again, for these next few, if you'd like to add your opposite arms, finding that balance and core strength here, so both hands can stay down to find that stability. And then as you're ready, both hands come down, both knees come back down. Let's find a few breaths in child's pose here. Deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Just find a settling, a grounding. Slowing your breath down if that got your heart rate up a little bit. Okay. So we're going to make another bit of movement from tabletop, and excuse me, this time working on balance again. I should mention, if your knees feel tender, you can place a folded blanket underneath your knees for a bit more support here. So we will start with, I'm going to show you on the left side first, since I'll be facing you that way. So I'm going to extend my left leg back and lift it up. And then I'm going to turn my right toes to the side, and I'm going to begin to turn my hips to the side. So I'll show that again. So left leg extends, lift your right foot, turn it so that it's turning behind you off your mat, And then turn your hips to the side. Maybe place your left hand on your left hip. And then lift your right leg through your inner thigh. So you feel the strength here in your leg. Shoulders back, maybe reach your left arm up. Or you can stay with your hand down for a bit more balance here. Connecting to your breath. And then whenever you're ready, both hands, both feet come down, coming back to tabletop here for a moment. And you could move through cat and cow a couple times. Coming back to the center. And then we'll do the same movement on the other side, this time extending your left leg back, turning your right toes out, lifting your left leg, maybe lifting your right leg, maybe lifting your right hand to your hip or reaching up. And as you're ready, we'll come back to the center. Take a moment here, moving through cat and cow. We can even come back to child's pose for a couple of breaths. All right, so either from tabletop or from downward dog, if you'd like to come back to downward dog for a few breaths, please come back here. We'll step our right foot forward, place our back knee down. You can place a foam block or a folded blanket underneath your back knee for a bit more support. And then let's rise up to a low lunge. So hands on your front leg, hands to your hips to begin here. Settle into our lunge. So front knees over your ankle. And you're welcome to stay here, or you can begin to reach your arms up overhead. As you breathe here, settle your shoulder blades onto your back. A couple full big breaths. And as you're ready, placing both hands back down, let's revolve towards the right. So you can walk your right foot a little wider. Let's turn towards our front leg. And you're welcome to stay here. Bring your right hand to your hip or reach your hand up. And as you're ready, both hands come down. Your choice to come into downward dog or child's pose. Taking a few breaths. And from either tabletop or downward dog, stepping your left foot forward. And you can place a block or cushion underneath your right knee. Let's rise to a low lunge here. So we're settling in. Any arm variation that supports you right now. So hands to your hips, you can reach up, or anything else that feels good. If you'd like, if your arms are overhead, you could interlace your hands, place them at the base of your skull, and let your head relax into your hands, and then open your elbows wide. So it's a bit of a heart opener here. Breathing up into your heart space. And then as you're ready, placing your right hand down, walk your left foot a little wider. And let's turn towards the left, either hand on your hip, reaching up here. And then as you're ready, hands come down. We're going to step forward this time into a forward fold. So you can lift your back knee, maybe take a step or two forward. And let your head release. You may grab opposite elbows or let your arms hang here. And try to relax the back of your head, your neck. Couple full clearing breaths. Let's take our hands to our shins and come to a halfway lift. Inhale, exhale to forward fold. Again, inhale, lifting up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Let's take a slow ragdoll up to standing. Taking your time, maybe a breath or two. Rolling your shoulders back and down a couple times. Let's take a breath in, reach our arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Let's find a halfway lift here, inhale. Now let's step back to plank pose. You may want to move anything off your mat first. And we'll start with a breath in plank. You can place your knees down to the floor and find some support to lower you all the way down. All right. So we'll start in a very low cobra, pressing down through the tops of your feet, pressing through the front of your hips. Lift your chest and maybe use some core strength. Lift your hands, float them off the floor, or you can even extend your fingertips back. Couple more breaths here. And as you're ready, hands come down, we'll press back to tabletop. You can come to down dog or child's pose. We'll take a couple breaths. Maybe a couple clearing breaths wherever it is that you are, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. And either from tabletop or down dog, let's step our right foot forward. We're going to come up to warrior two. Back heel comes to the ground and rise to stand. So lining up your front heel, the middle of your back foot, front knees over your ankle. And as you extend your arms, you could look forward and then notice from your back hip out through down through your back leg and into your outer foot, this anchoring feeling. And then from both hips, lift up through your spine, your core pulls up, shoulders drop back. And then take a breath and then soften in, relax your shoulders. Couple more breaths here. Now let's begin to straighten out our front leg. We're going to come into triangle pose, finding a little bit of length through the sides of your body. Reach forward, bring your hand to your shin or to a block, and then your back hand can either rest on your hip, and if it feels okay to extend your arm up, reaching your arm up towards the ceiling here. Again, feel the anchoring of your back foot and then reach up through your hand, or you could extend over and reach forward for a bit more of a side body lengthener. Now we're going to rise and come all the way up to stand and hands to your hips for a moment. Take a breath in and then a breath out. And let's bend back into our front knee. So option to come back to warrior two with your arms extended. Second option would be to interlace your hands behind you, straightening out your arms. Let's take a breath in here, and then we're going to fold to the inside of your front leg, release your head, and maybe lift your arms up towards the ceiling. So back legs really connected. And then we're going to push down through our feet, rise to come all the way up to stand. Let's turn both feet to the long edge of our mat. Again, taking a breath in here, and then we're going to forward fold into a wide-legged forward fold, letting your hands release, let your head release. You could notice the outer edges of both feet really rooting, and then as that energy draws up through your legs, there's a slight hugging towards the center, and then you could move your upper legs and sit bones back. Couple more breaths here. And then as you're ready, we'll lift up halfway. And let's turn both of our feet back towards the front of our mat. We'll walk our hands around and sit back to downward dog. You could lift your right leg up behind you, maybe bend your knee, stack your hips, or you could come to child's pose or both feet down for down dog. And when you're ready, bringing both feet back down to the ground for downward dog. And let's step our left foot forward and come up to warrior two on the other side. So lining up your front heel at the middle of your back foot, strong back leg right out to your outer foot, settling into your front knee, arms extend. And let's soften into our upper body, keeping our legs strong here, connecting to your breath. Couple more breaths here. Now, as you're ready, straightening out your front leg, let's take a full breath in here. Reach forward. Your front hand comes to your shin or to a block, and then your back hand can be on your hip or reach up for a triangle pose. Connecting to your breath here. Couple more breaths. And then as you're ready, we'll lift right back up to stand. Bend into your front knee one more time. So you could come to warrior two with your arms extended, or interlace your hands behind you, straighten your arms, take a breath in here, and then fold to the inside of your front leg, lifting your arms and really feeling the anchoring of your back leg here as you fold in. And then let's stand all the way back up. Release your hands, turn both feet to the long edge of your mat. Taking a full breath in here, and then forward fold into a wide-legged forward fold. Now, as you fold in this time, you could either have your hands resting on the floor, or you could take your hands behind you, interlace them, and lift your arms up again if you like, your choice. Connecting to your breath. Now, as you're ready, hands come down. Let's lift up halfway. We're going to walk our hands around back to the front of our mat, maybe stepping back to three-legged dog, lifting your left leg up this time, bending your knee maybe, opening up your hip. Or you can come to child's pose or both feet down for down dog. And then as you're ready, both feet come down. Moment to maybe move through a vinyasa or take a pause in child's pose or stay in downward dog. And wherever it is that you are, moving back to a forward fold at the front of your mat. So walking or stepping your feet forward, taking a forward fold. You could take your first two fingers on both hands in between your big toe and second toe, hook your big toes, bend your elbows and fold. Some of you may be able to lift the fronts of your feet, slide your palms facing up, slide your hands underneath, shoulders back, and fold. So either one. And as you're ready, we'll release, find an inhale, halfway lift, exhale to fold, and then ragdoll up to stand. Take your time. Okay. All right. So I'm going to turn to the side for this balance. And a couple options. There'll be a few options for this balance. We're going to start by standing on our right leg. Maybe I'll show it first, all the options, and then I'll come back and you can decide where you want to go with this. So option to lift your leg, lift your knee, or turn it out to the side. Okay, and maybe turning your gaze. Some of you may have a bit more flexibility. I may not be able to show this variation. Toe lock, extend your leg, maybe extend your leg to the side. I'm going to show you what not to do here. This is what it looks like. You want to have your spine straight and tall because the backs of my legs are really tight right now. I'm really hunched over, so you don't want to look like this. You want to be able to stand up tall and have your leg extended at the same time. So that's not possible. As you can see, I can't do that. Holding the top of your knee. So as you're holding the top of your knee, there's a flexion through your foot and your leg's at a 90-degree angle. So this leg's still engaged. All right, let's start from the beginning. So standing on your right leg first, lifting your left knee, holding the top of your knee. Some of you that take the toe lock will go there on your own. And you can stay here, or you can open your knee to the side without turning this hip to the side. So keeping that forward. And then extending your right arm. And if you want to challenge your balance, turn your gaze to the palm of your right hand. And try to anchor through your standing leg to keep length through your spine here. And coming back to the center, both feet coming down. Give it a little shake out through your legs if you need to. And then take a moment in mountain pose here. Okay. From my experience, one side always feels different than the other. Not better, not worse, but sometimes with balances, we're more balanced on one side. So just notice how this side feels. You could keep your knee in the center, move it to the side, or extend your arm. If you're extending your left arm, you might want to challenge your balance, shifting your gaze. And then coming back to the center as you're ready and shaking it out or circling your ankle. And then pausing in mountain pose for a moment. I'm going to turn back forward, facing the front of my mat. Let's take a breath in, reach our arms up, and then let's exhale, forward fold. Well, let's take a halfway lift, inhale. Let's step our left foot back, left knee comes down, right foot comes wider. So we're gonna work into lizard pose here today. For those of you that have blocks, let me turn to the side for a moment. Let's see where you can see me. So this is my foot in the center. I'm going to walk my foot to the side, bring my hands to the inside. I'm going to turn my toe out just so my knee starts to open to the side a little bit. It does give a bit of a stretch up into your upper leg. And if you have space, back knee can move back. Now you can use your blocks to lift up a bit higher, especially if you feel like your hips are super duper tight. But if you have a couple blocks, you could stack one on top of the other on the side that has the most surface area. And maybe start to come down to your forearms. So this just brings the floor a little closer. And just being mindful to roll your shoulders back and down here. And eventually, you could work by turning the blocks on their side. One arm to each block, a bit lower. And then of course, continuing to lower as soon as you start to round. I notice my upper back's rounding here. I'm gonna lift up a bit higher. So you don't need to lower to your forearms. You can stay up on your hands, but if you have blocks and you want to utilize them to start to move a bit deeper into this, this movement, this posture, use your props. Maybe a few clearing breaths here. Close your eyes if you like and come back to your intention, or use your breath to clear out or release out anything that you want to let go of, any heaviness, anything that's not serving you right now. Couple more breaths on this side if you're still with me. As you're ready, we'll make our way out of this side. If there's any kind of movement that you'd like to make, maybe some hip circles or child's pose, or anything else before coming to the other side, please check in with your body. And as you're ready, we will come to the other side, which may feel very different than the first side. So again, you can use your blocks to lift up higher, or use the blocks to lower down lower, or even just stay on your hands. So finding that place that works for you for this side. And in these long held postures, it's super key to use our breath. So really focusing on our breath, because there can be this discomfort in our body that makes us kind of move into our mind a lot or focus on that discomfort. So a couple clearing breaths to release that, or just finding a rhythm for your breath that supports you being in the present moment. Couple more breaths here. And taking your time to move from this side and exploring some movement or perhaps child's pose to release from that last pose, the lizard pose. Okay, so we're going to come around onto our seat as you're ready. I'm going to use a soft foam block to sit on. So if you have a soft foam block, you may want to sit up on that. How lucky are we with this weather? Oh, wow, so nice. After it felt like summer just abruptly ended with the smoke, it feels nice to have a little bit of heat again. So we're coming into bound angle, and a couple options. For those of you that have tighter hips, your knees are sort of up in the air here. If you have blocks or even rolled blankets, supporting your legs by placing the blocks or blankets at your outer hip and letting your legs relax into that will be helpful to release some tension from your legs. And if your legs are settling closer to the ground, you can have your heels in towards your pelvis more. That's one variation. And the other variation is to have your heels further away. So you have a bit of a diamond shape here. So you could explore both to see what feels best for you. And then depending on how your spine is, we'll either lengthen up here with our hands beside us or behind us and lean forward a little. If you're able to keep your spine long and lean forward a lot, you could grab maybe your feet or your ankles and allow your upper body to fold in. If you're folding in a lot, I often bring my elbows to the inside of my lower leg and put a gentle pressure down. Feel free to do that or not. And then as you're breathing here, allowing your chin to draw towards your chest for a bit more release through your neck. And then allowing your inhale to come up to your shoulder blades and your exhale to soften you forward. And as you're ready, we'll rise and bring your knees towards one another. Let's lean back. Option to extend your legs forward or place your feet on the ground and release your knees from side to side. Okay. So we're going to come into a boat pose, a little bit of core engagement for practice, a little bit more. We did a bit at the beginning. So for boat pose, you could keep your feet on the ground, find length through your spine, and take it gently by lifting one foot at a time. If you feel that you could hug in your lower belly towards your lower back and keep from, this is a bit of a slouch, you're going to try to keep your lower back drawing in. You can lift both feet away from the ground, holding the back of your legs here. If you're feeling like you can hold that container in your lower back, you could extend your arms forward here or move back to grab a hold at any time. Shoulders back, heart lifted, connecting to your breath here. Some of you may be able to hold that container and straighten your legs up without slouching back. So you can feel free to also extend your legs a bit more. And as you're ready, bringing your feet down. Just find a little bit of a release here for a moment. Moving your knees side to side or extending your legs forward. All right, we're going to try that again. And this time I'm going to add in an option to create a bit of movement. So either extending your legs and drawing in by holding the back of your knees, or keeping your arms extended forward, knees to chest, or even holding the ground behind you to draw in. You see, I need to do more of this. Couple more breaths here. And then as you're ready, hands come down, shake it out a little bit. Whew. I can feel that in my legs more than in my core, so maybe I should be offering a core class for all of us. We'll see how that goes. Okay, so we're gonna roll onto our back now, and any props, just move them off to the side for now, and come to recline onto your back. And once you're there, bring one knee or both knees into your chest and move a bit here. So we'll come into figure 4. Let's place our left foot on the ground, right foot on top of your left leg. And opportunity to pause here, or bring your left knee towards your chest. Couple full breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth. As you're ready, let's release that side, and we'll come to the other side. Connecting back to your breath here. Try to relax your shoulders towards the floor, keeping your lower back connected to the ground. And as you're ready, let's release that side. Let's extend both legs forward, arms overhead, full body stretch. And release. So bridge pose. We're going to create an opportunity for a bit of space at the front of our bodies here again. You could use a block to support you. Today I'm going to guide in with the strength of our legs, but feel free to use the block if you like. So you could lift your forearms, palms facing one another, press down through the backs of your arms, and draw your shoulder blades underneath you. Pressing through your feet and the backs of your arms, lift your hips up and continue to walk your shoulder blades in. Now here you could pause here, bring your hands down, or some of you might be able to interlace your hands underneath you and continue to walk your arms closer. Connecting to your breath here, breathing into your lower belly. And then when you're ready, parting your hands, lower your hips back down. You could pause here by walking your feet apart, drawing your toes in, knocking your knees together, or you may want to bring your knees up towards your chest and rock a bit here. And we'll come into a twist Placing your hips over to the left. Let's bring our knees up and over to the right side. And as you settle your knees here, you could extend your arm out, your left arm. You can hold your knees down with your right hand or also extend your right arm. If it's comfortable, close your eyes. Come back to the rhythm of your breath. Settling the weight of your body towards the floor. As you're ready, coming back to the center and then moving your hips over to the right and knees to the left. Settling your legs to the floor any way that makes, any way that's possible. Again, maybe closing your eyes and then connecting into your breath either way here. And as you're ready, coming back to the center, bringing your hips back to the middle of your mat. One more movement in the center. So that could be knees to chest or maybe moving into happy baby pose here. And as you're ready, releasing and setting yourself up for Shavasana. So if you have some props to support you, feel free to take a moment to get bolster, blanket, sweater, whatever you need to be comfortable. And once you are comfortable, taking a couple clearing breaths here to settle on your back or any other place that's comfortable for Shavasana. And to begin to deepen your breath. Make some gentle movement with your ankles, your wrists. Give yourself a full body stretch here. Or bring your knees up into your chest and rock a little bit. Taking your time to roll to one side. Take a couple breaths on your side before making your way up to your seat. As you come up to your seat, you can place both hands over your heart or palms together at heart center. Take a couple of deep breaths here. Gratitude, connection, grounding, noticing your body, so feeling how your body feels in this moment, maybe how your energy feels, perhaps different than when you began this practice this morning. And thank yourself for being here, for taking the time to move your body. I'm going to seal the class with an Om again, and you're more than welcome to join in. And take a clearing breath, deep breath in, exhale, inhale. Namaste. Thanks, everyone. Hope have a wonderful rest of your day if you're joining live, and if you're recorded, hope you're enjoying whatever's next for you.